All right, welcome everybody to the OTJ Artisan Zombie League Top 8 Megadraft. I think I got all that right. Here with Miranda tonight, and we're going to be looking at the Beatdown Bringer, Dan A. Draft this 6 packs of OTJ, but without the rares. So every pack has, I think, 5 uncommons at its base, and then some number of commons and a wild card slot that could be one of the uh, one of the lands.
Yes, it's 5 uncommons, 1 prosperity. The rest commons, you're guaranteed at least 1 common of every color, and the land slot is 50-50, a dual land or a basic.
All right, yeah, we got the prosperity cards. I believe we're going to be seeing them in their original frames here on the Draftmancer
That's
site.
correct.
So in this case, it would be Tyrant Scorn, and Dan. I think choosing between probably the unfortunate accident, the possum, and the getaway glamour went with getaway glamour. Just such a very flexible card that can do a lot of different things in a lot of different board
And I
games.
think that's fair considering that unfortunate accident is really a double black card. At the end of the day.
Yeah, and that one's splashable. So having not played
Mhm.
in the Zombie League, I know these are the same packs. Are the colors at about the same strength as they were in regular OTJ? I'm guessing probably they were.
I would say so. I believe almost all of the top 8 were playing green by the end, mostly green black, a lot of recursion going on, or green white mounts. Bob was 4 colors, everything but blue. There, it's a lot of fixing and splashing, much like the normal set.
Yeah, I know a lot of people did did like it, but a lot of people didn't care for it as much. Just felt it's kind of like a slog without the rares because it's like everything's just like value engines. So the games
I
could go long,
personally
but
felt it was very akin to normal OTJ of either your starting pool was good or it wasn't, and your starting pool was make or break. Like no single pack was really gonna save you. Your starting pool needed to have something going for
all
it.
right. So he goes with the prairie dog here just to stay on the white. I guess there were a few cards of similar strength, but there's value in staying white here, and I he sees the green card, and he's probably going to take the green card. I imagine most people are
I'm
probably going to want to be in green. Whoever does not end up in green is probably going to be potentially unhappy unless they came in, focused on doing something other than green.
Yeah, I think probably full Grixis Crimes is the only non-green option. I can't imagine anything else is too functional. Although I am surprised Dan didn't go for more of the dual lands to begin with. I would have thought maybe picking all the dual lands to start would be a strategy. He's taken some very good cards, and we have not seen a ton of good cards in these packs. Clearly, green's being taken by other people.
Yeah, he's looking here at Fierce Retribution. Not didn't turn out being an incredible card, but very decent one. And now looking potentially at the jailbreak scheme, which I know a lot of people didn't care for blue. I know in draft I was fine drafting blue, and jailbreak scheme was one of the commons that could actually pull me into it when I saw it late in the pack. But this is not that late in the pack, so I believe he just went with the Fierce Retribution. I am getting some feedback here. I don't know on whose mic that is.
Oh, interesting.
Okay,
Are you still getting feedback if I use this mic?
uh, sounds okay to me.
Okay, I'll have to talk louder, but am I okay?
Yeah, everything's good. I can. Right. So now he's looking at this blue card and he's saying this might be the best card here. I'm surprised didn't not thinking too much about the deserts too, which he just moused over, but perhaps is going to stay away from.
I'm honestly very surprised to be taking a Metamorphic Blast over a Desert Stew. I don't think he's locked into a color yet. I can't say that you get too locked into a color early in Artisan, because you don't have like a bomb that you're really going after. So I don't think, black is not an option for him, and surely you'd rather have a black card than a blue one.
Yeah, well, maybe he's figuring blue's going to be under drafted and potentially open. Metamorphic Blast was a card that read strong and played medium. Surprised to kind of see an Arynx here actually at pick 6.
I agree. I think that would be the easy pick for me here. Dan taking this blue card does make me wonder if he's actually going for blue white. Considering that he did play Gem as his Artisan Brawl commander,
Okay,
he's
yeah.
probably pretty comfortable playing blue white.
Yeah, blue white was actually, I think I did over 70 drafts of OTJ and I never ended up in a blue white deck. So
Yeah, I don't recommend it in the main set, but maybe he's thinking with enough packs it could be good and it's gonna be more open than other
I feel like you,
things.
you need to see those, the 1/4, the gold card, to really have a real pull into it. But he's good. He's liking Take the Fall here over, a bunch of medium cards. If you're Take the Fall or Wolverine are probably the best just straight up cards here. And with no other red cards, he's going for the blue. So looks like he's not afraid, even if he's not wanting to. I don't think he's one to fight over a color if it's not going to be open. So he took a green card when it was there, but he hasn't seen any green cards, which is again not surprising whatsoever.
And we're already at the point in the pack where I'm not really excited about any of these cards.
Yeah, I mean Silver Deputy will make your deck functional if you need to play cards of various colors. Take for a Ride was a card I never quite did what it looked like it could do, but maybe he'll find something to do with it here. And then we see all the blue and red cards coming back.
Indeed, there's a lot of blue and red, so there's probably going to be at least one Grixis player somewhere. Will their deck actually benefit from the colors being extremely open? I'm unsure.
I mean, like none. I mean, aside from Highway Robbery, none of these cards are cards I'm looking to put in decks most of the time. Highway Robbery I'll basically always run. Shackle Slinger, again, it not being an outlaw. I mean, it sort of falls into two decks because it commits a crime and it cares about double spelling. But it just never quite did enough.
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything particularly well. Like, it can do both decks, but it's not exciting for either deck. I was never happy to have it in my deck.
Yeah, it looks like your classic sort of glue card that like goes in a bunch of different decks, but it actually just didn't do enough to really make the cut in almost any decks.
Completely agreed. And he even looks like an outlaw. Not letting him have the typing really hurt.
Well, he's slinging shackles, so he's some sort of lawman, I suppose. So,
Fair.
but soldier was a strange one there. Right, trick shot. I mean, if you're playing red, you usually run a trick shot. It's not amazing, but
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset about it.
it's looking here now. I was gonna say where's the rare, but
Yeah,
there's no
it's
rares.
tough opening a pack and looking for the good card and being like,
I
well,
was like, oh, there's no rares, but there's a bunch of good green.
yeah,
There's a bunch of good green cards.
I am excited by all of these green cards and not much else.
Yeah, the
Like, Skewer the
whites.
Critic's
I
fine.
can't imagine he would want to take any of these white cards here, even though he's probably
No.
solidified more in white than anything. Throw from the saddle,
Hmm.
just premium card. Just one of the best we've ever seen at common. I mean, I know now in the new set we're in Modern Horizons we're getting a 1 mana one. It doesn't pump, but throw from the saddle was so premium, especially if you could just put that counter on a mount.
Yeah, I can't imagine passing throw here.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying I could still be green. I could still be green, as I'm sure everybody is who's
It's
who's
never too
not
late to be
solidified.
green in this set.
Anybody who's not solidified in green is probably still thinking to themselves, "There's time," which it's true because we are drafting 6 packs. Remember, so you're not married to really anything after pack one, and with no rares here, you're really not married to anything because you're not going to have a card that's 5 times better than the rest of your cards. You're going to have cards that are maybe slightly better.
I do wonder if that means people are going to be more likely to be more than two colors if you really are just taking the best card you can find. If that means you're not really going to end up specifically in two colors.
Well, he sees another throw and he says, "Do I take that or the mystical tether?"
I think it would be Mystical Tether here for me,
Yeah, because
personally.
I feel like he's for sure in white, and green is
Hmm.
like the color he wants to be. But mystical tether seems like it's as close to 100% to make the deck as.
Yeah, you know you're going to play it.
Yeah, like he took a few blue cards there speculatively, but you know,
But it
I,
was later in the pack when, he had the space to, I think, early in the pack, you really got to lock down these
Yeah,
best.
the
best
Drover Grizzly did come around pretty late, and that was a card that actually ended up being pretty important in most of the decks that it came in. Like that trample actually
Couldn't agree more.
was made a difference, and it had 4 power for the some of the cards that cared about that.
Hmm.
It looked pretty unassuming, but it actually overperformed. And here, I imagine he's looking at one of these green cards here.
It's a little tough because there is a Visage Bandit in this pack that, if he does end up blue, is one of the core blue cards for me. But I do think you want to take a green card here just in case you can make green one of your primary colors.
Yeah, Visage Bandit was one of the coolest versions of a clone that like I've seen in a long time because you could actually just play something and then clone it immediately, clone that thing immediately, and like get some value from doing that because you put it on plot.
Agreed. My biggest story with Visage Bandit was I played LSB in the Arena
Oh,
Open qualifier day one, and he played a bandit, or sorry, he played paladin, followed by two Visage Bandits for
ooh,
three paladins in one turn.
ooh. My best Visage Bandit was on turn 5 playing Terror of the Peaks and then playing Visage Bandit off of
Yes.
plot. Opponent decided they did not want to continue. Now his attention is back to blue here with this Canyon Crab, which was actually kind of like a really important card in those blue decks because it defended you. It was something you could attack with. It looted when you triggered the triggered ability. It was kind of the 2 drop that you wanted.
Very much agree. I think if you're gonna end up in blue, that's definitely the take.
Oh, the lobster.
I'm quite surprised to see Back for More still in this pack.
Yeah, maybe people like overcorrected and was just like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
think
not
people
fight
are a little
over.
scared to
I'm
commit.
not gonna fight over Abzan piles. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if Dan's gonna capitalize on that, go in on the deep muck, maybe just a safe beaver
Yeah,
pick.
of note, he does not have really any fixing, I think, aside from Dance of the Tumbleweeds. He really went light on the lands in these packs, right? There's just one still.
Yeah, that's true. We've only seen a handful of the dual
We've
lands. They're a
seen
lot less plentiful in
we've
this.
seen almost no lands at all, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Only a very few. So looks like you're gonna have to prioritize fixing if you want to get away with playing lots of colors, or
And he
else.
goes with the
Okay,
beaver.
looks like
And here, of course, we see the land that could help fix with Back for More.
yeah, but I
And
don't.
a
He had
dam.
no black cards whatsoever. So
No, I agree. But he did pass on that Desert Stew early. He seemed pretty committed to not taking black.
yeah, I think he's sort of doing what you're supposed to do in a mega draft normally, which is just um, try and take the best cards that you can for the first couple packs, and then start getting into a color. Tumbleweed Rising is a card I know people like. I was always on the
Hmm.
I was
I
always
think I
not
prefer
a fan of it.
Dance here or the Dual Land,
Yeah, even the Raucous
personally.
Entertainer is pretty decent.
Okay, here's another Dual Land.
Founding Felidar just was ended up being really good in this format. It looked kind of clunky. It looked like your classic 6 drop that you don't want to play. But
Agreed. It definitely did not read very well,
yeah, well, when I read it,
but
I said, okay, it's 6 mana. Okay, you need to have something to saddle it with. Okay, you need to have other creatures, and you need to attack with it. And until then, it does nothing. But it turns out the thing that it did was just so strong. The trigger is just so strong
it's
that
asking a
it's
lot,
worth.
but the life gain, ooh, it's so good in
And it
this.
just so happened that the saddle mount deck was just worked.
That's true. It was benefited by green white being so excellent.
All right, so Betrayal at the Vault. I think he's sort of like, I didn't want to fight over green, but it's just open enough,
I agree. I think he's seeing just enough good green
Yeah,
cards
it might not be wide
to be
open,
worth
but
it.
it's like just open enough. It's getting just enough cards. Again, I was never a fan of Tumbleweed Rising, but I've seen it do decent things. All right,
I can certainly understand wanting to be aggressive, and if he's not planning to splash, something like Dance is less good than
all right. There's a Grizzly.
just more bodies.
Yeah, Grizzlies are good.
And Grizzlies do play well with the Rising.
All right, not too much. I mean, the Thunder Lasso is playable, I guess, but not exciting.
I would agree.
It was a good. It's a good crime enabler, but like there was like one card in white that cared about committing crimes, I think, and it was an uncommon. There was like crime decks and green decks, I think, in the format. Those are kind of the
Yes,
those like
maybe some black graveyard decks.
yeah. All right, so Pixie here. That was a card that I never quite got on board with in the format. I know it can do some cool things, but the fail case of a
Especially
one-one flyer
without
for one was just too weak a lot of the time.
Yeah, especially without rares. I'm not really sure what in this deck you're trying to pick up.
So
There's
interesting, he
not
took the
really
Raucous
much
Entertainer
to
and
trigger.
immediately just said, "I don't want to play this." I mean, the card's not that bad. Okay, I think he's starting to coherently sort his cards here because up to now it was a little his sorting was a little confusing. All right, ooh, he's got a nice seven
Oh,
seven here. Can't imagine
an
he's
armadillo, just what he's looking
can't
for.
imagine he's gonna find something better than that. And no, that card was just one
Yeah,
of the best
we
uncommons in the whole set.
especially just given graveyard synergy and desert synergy, and we really haven't seen like a Cactarantula or any of the other particularly big
And we
boys.
haven't seen a lot
So
of
this is a
gold
nice thing
cards.
to see.
We just haven't seen a lot of gold
Yes,
cards. Period.
indeed.
Just like very
Not
few
one lifetime.
of the gold uncommons.
Mm-hmm.
Like haven't seen like a lot of the key cards, but I guess people would take them early, like Miriam, Rutstein, Congregation Griff, Ruthless
Even
Lawbringer.
Gem.
Yeah, if somebody was inclined to go down that direction, we just haven't seen them
Mhm.
at all. I assume people are just taking them high if they're in the packs
Agreed.
because those are
But like
absolutely
in this pack, we didn't have any.
those are arguably some of the best cards in this entire format that we've constructed here.
Agreed.
So yeah, Armadillo looking pretty good here. Cardi's maybe hoping to get back. I mean, I don't know if it wheels, but I always want to have varmints in my deck. Voracious Varmint just turned out
Agreed.
being amazing,
Especially in this format. Oh.
especially in a meta where white was good and there was tons of O-ring effects.
Mm-hmm.
And here a premium two drop here, so he is lacking on two drops right now with just the Train Arynx, the Prairie Dog, and the Alchemist. So another Train Arynx is right what he needs here, I think.
Yeah, it does feel like he's gonna need to prioritize those, but this is exactly the one you want to be.
Yeah, I mean it's the best one at common for the mount deck. Like that's the one you want always.
I mean, he's got a good collection of cards for this only being the start of pack 3.
Is that the was that the only two drop mount at common? Was there?
Is Burfiend an
Yeah,
uncommon?
Burrow Fiend's an uncommon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the only two drop.
I think that's it on 2, yeah.
Maybe at uncommon there was probably some others, but
Hmm.
all right. So looking here, there's take up the shield, which he might have his eye on. If he wants a creature, there's the Tycoon, or probably doesn't need another Grizzly.
Yeah, I don't hate having one take up the shield, especially because I assume snakeskin veils are going to get taken up rather quickly.
Yeah, it's
And
it's
I
all.
think these protection spells are really key to your green decks in this format of you need to have the biggest guy on the board and you need to protect them.
Well,
You need to keep them on the board and just keep hitting with
well,
them.
speaking of premium two drops, you got one here with uh,
I don't know what more
the
you could
Frontier
ask for than
Seeker.
a Frontier
Yeah,
Seeker.
I forgot the name for a moment, and then after he scrolled down, but yes, the Frontier Seeker is great. I mean, there's other good cards here, but that one was
Yeah, of course, certainly think the first Frontier Seeker is better than the third Throw. I don't know that this is really a bandit deck. Um, I think Seeker is just a dream here.
yeah, it's pretty happy to see that. I mean, we're almost halfway through the draft here. Well, partway through this pack, and
Hmm.
here's another Tether if he wants it. Requisition
I
Ray is a
mean,
cool card. Very, very like when it hits hard. But Mystical Tether is just you know
he keeps eyeing the summoner, but I can't imagine not taking another tether here.
yeah. I wonder how many people just ended up in some green deck that that they kind of just say, well, it's open enough. I guess we'll see when we go through the pools how many people ended up in green, but
Yeah, do you want to make a prediction now? How many green decks we think
I
there's going to be?
I do not wish to make the prediction. No.
I'm going to bet there's at least 5 decks that have a green card in them.
Okay, that's yeah, that's probably going to be accurate. That might even be low.
Yeah,
All right,
at least 5.
all right. Not too much going on in this pack. Tumbleweeds and Wanted Griffin are cards for the green white, and I don't know if he wants either of those. Having already won dance, or did no? Did he get?
No, he took
Okay,
Rising, so
okay.
I
So
think the first dance is not a problem here, especially because we have not seen a lot of the 6-drop creatures.
yeah, he also just
Just
doesn't.
having dance is a big token
He
late.
doesn't have any of the utility deserts to go get though. Like one of the strength of Dance of Tumbleweeds like him is like go get an arid archway to surveil, go get a conduit pylons, go get a ranch, like go get
It's a
these
good
cards
point. I
that
do think
really do
these
something.
packs lack like conduit pylons and
Yeah, it's
such.
like there's a
The
basic
normal
land instead. Like I know they probably constructed these packs for the league so that people wouldn't be like have insane amounts of deserts, but like just seeing a swamp
deck.
here instead of literal any desert, this
That
must feel
that
bad
does
for the
really
players.
hurt. Compared to the normal OTJ experience, that is actually a huge downside.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
guessing that this was something discussed in the pack composition for sealed, but
mhm.
in this draft, it's like players are just probably seeing
It really
swamp and being
hurts to
like,
not have it.
"There's a dead card in the pack," and same in this one.
Hmm.
All right, so
Yeah, especially with play boosters having less cards, having a dead card is really brutal.
the Stilling Supplier here is a very very competent 5-drop, so nice one to
Hmm.
have here. Yeah, he's been able to pick up like I think he just picked up like a second. Was it a Fierce Retribution? I guess he's looking at requisition rate here. Just he does not have any varmints yet, so he just says, "Let me pick up one." It'd be nice to have one.
Did he take that over the flyer though?
Yeah, and then he took a
Hmm.
second one, but there was nothing else much going on in that pack. So
I don't love it. I do think the flyers are a really nice way to help close out the game.
yeah, I've liked that card. Like I ended up
Hmm.
it ended up looking a bit better than it did at the beginning.
Agreed. Especially if you can get a counter on like your airing or something.
Yeah,
That doesn't want to do it.
or even like put it on a beaver when we make it a 5/5
Mm-hmm.
vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a headache. All right, so not too much here at the end of the pack. We're halfway through the draft. He has probably a bunch of stuff he's happy with, and a bunch of cards he might not want to have in the final version. But that's why we still have 3 packs left. So he's positioned himself well. You know, he's gotten into the best color combo, and I think white's been more open than green. But like I said, he's got enough green cards. And
Not too surprising.
the Betrayal at the Vault coming around late was a bit surprising, but that's a card like you probably just want one of, even if you do want it.
Yeah, I can't imagine playing two.
Interesting.
So here, do you take Trash to the Town or do you take another Airings? He is pretty low on 2 drops.
Arynx is just it's so important. Hard to imagine I could be swayed to take something other than Arynx, but um, you know, Dan is going to take the best card for what he sees his deck is going to be. And imagine it's probably Snakeskin or Arynx or Trash.
I just know that Dan values card draw, so I know he's going to be eyeing this Trash to the Town. But I do think his 2-drop slot is really lacking right now.
All right. Well, it's a unique enough effect that he said.
I don't blame him. Also, prioritizing the uncommons makes sense.
All right. So Stable Master here looks to be the pick.
I would completely agree.
This card was in such a strange position because there wasn't really 5-drop mounts to play on turn 3 very much. Like
Very
because
true.
like I read it, I was like, oh, you can play a 5-drop on turn 3, like that's pretty good. And then like every time it's just like you could play your Beaver or your Bridal Bighorn a turn early, but it's like any mana dork could do that. So it was weird that it it ramped you up to a mana amount that there weren't really mounts at. That caught me a bit
Yeah, I
off,
agree. I think I most
but it's
often
still a great
used
card.
it to play like a 3-drop mount and then another 2-drop on turn 4 or turn 3.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like
that's pretty good. You can go Arinx and then
yeah, so I think you can use it to like get a 3-drop mount out and then still play another 2-drop and get up mana that way. But it is weird. There really aren't any 5-drop mounts.
all right. So some premium removal here, whether he wants the cheap journey or the more expensive lasso. Lasso giving you a body and being able to hit any type of permanent, including you know, other lasso mystical tether effects.
I'm surprised he went for lasso, considering I feel like there are less targets in this than normal.
Well, you got the journey anyway, so
But he was instantly rewarded with another
I know
journey.
Felidar is great, but I think I'm taking
I
Varmint
don't
here. I'm
know
I'm
that you
I'm a
need a
Varmint
second
fan.
one, especially with his current number of 2-drop creatures. I definitely go varmint there.
All right, so I don't think maybe he does want a third fierce. I was gonna say I'm not sure he wants a third fierce.
Yeah, especially because he just took 2 O-ring effects.
Bridal Bighorn ended up just I don't know. It was strangely good. Like it looks like just total filler, and it was a bit better than filler. I would say it was kind of good. I hear he did take
I
the
think I
Sterling
still
spot.
prefer Beaver, but I agree it was extremely playable.
Yeah,
Okay, he is getting a second Seeker here at least.
like I know in the regular league, I would just go like Hard Bristle Bandit on 2, Bridal Bighorn on 3, and start attacking and using my removal, and it was strangely effective because I had vigilance. But yeah, Beaver
Hmm.
Beaver is preferable. Another Frontier Seeker here, so he must be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, and we're even seeing a Beaver and a Trash the Town and a Rising this late. It feels like people have really lessened on green, at least in this direction.
So I think, like I said, perhaps people like over adjusted,
Hmm.
and now Dan is able to take advantage because like in maybe the first couple of packs people are waffling, and then finally decide, okay, I don't want to fight over it, and now he's like, oh, people decided they don't want to fight over it. Well, now I can reap the benefits.
Yeah, I think he's stuck it out, and now it's going to be plenty open for him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the other pools here, and possibly at some point look at the draft logs too, because it's so interesting to see how the directions people went, just because there's no like bombs to pull you anywhere. Kind of like
Agreed.
kind of like when I draft, like I have a popper cube in paper, and it's like I always like I love talking about like what your first pick was, because it's like it could be anything. Like most of the cards are viable first picks because there's no insane power outliers, right? Not too
It does
much.
feel like more than normal because you don't have a bomb to direct you and there are so many correct first picks. It's just what do you think you can play the best? What do you think is like the best deck to go for? What's your play style? Like what's your favorite is sort
Right.
of
Yeah,
what guides
I'm
you.
trying to figure out his sorting here. For his creatures, I guess like the first row is creatures that have plot. Second is mounts. Third is like
Mounts.
good value-y type stuff, but the bristle pack sentry made it in there somehow. And then armadillo just as a big boy. So I guess he's sorting them by like their purpose in the deck rather than mana cost or anything like that.
Not how I would think about it, but I agree.
Well, I'm just trying to figure it
Hmm.
out here because it would not be the usual sorting that we would expect, but you know, that he'll make it work. I have confidence that he'll make it work. However,
I'll definitely be curious what the final build looks like.
all right, let's see what we got here. Nothing too crazy. I'm looking at Beaver or potentially Conduit Pylon as a desert that he can actually put in his deck.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know that any of these do a unique effect for his deck like Pylons does. Like, I don't think he's a varmint deck, and I don't think, one more mount is really the difference
I don't know
maker.
what a varmint deck looks like, honestly. Like I had that card cast against me a few times in the format, but never to the point where I was like, oh, that's what you do with it. That's how you get six 2/1s in the
I
middle
think
game.
it's like
Eh,
a bunch of naturalists on 3, and the like 2 mana, the blood guy, the black 2-drop that mills,
all right. Well, maybe
and just a bunch of self mill effects.
maybe Dan has decided he will be the varmint, Rise of the Varmints gamer today, and show us the strength of it. So,
So he's hovering over Outcaster, but there's also a Cactarantula and a Getaway Glamour in that
he did
pack.
mention that he may value card draw. So
He does value card draw,
that
and this is not a color pair that draws a lot of extra
and
cards.
Cactarantula looks like it's going to be 6 mana every single time, which makes it
Oh,
worse.
that's a good point. No deserts.
So it being a 6 drop over something you can cast on turn 5 or even sometimes turn 4 if you have a ramp, it changes the trajectory of the card. All right, Holy Cow's a pretty decent pickup here. I mean, I don't think he's in the market for a third Betrayal at the Vault, but you never know. I usually maxed out on one of those cards because if you draw two, it could be extremely awkward.
I wonder if there's any chance you should take backwards here just to have a desert to search up.
Yeah, it could be. Holy Cow does not seem absolutely necessary in his deck.
Hmm.
He does not have 7 other copies and a Bruce Tarl, so looks like he did he highlight. Okay, well I guess we'll see what he takes here, but
Yeah, he's on the Holy Cow.
yeah, makes sense.
I would be surprised if it makes his final build, to be honest.
Let's see, does he want a third 6 drop Felidar here? I mean, the other cards are just filler.
It's not like there's anything to hate draft here.
Yeah, the Free Strider Commando ended up being like very medium. Like it was fun.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
fun to
definitely not.
reanimate it with like Back for More or Badlands Revival because it was a way to bring it in as a 5/5. But normally it was
I saw somebody get it with Electro Dominance, flash it in as a 5/5. It's
that
probably the coolest I ever saw, but
that
I
works.
certainly never played it myself.
That works too. Yeah, so I mean his deck is mostly built here. I assume most of the cards he's taking are just going to be upgrades here. It looks like he's at 38 cards right now, which is a couple over the amount of minimum playables you need. So
It's curious he has the gold pan in there still.
yeah, Gold Pen, not a great one.
Certainly when he doesn't need the treasure.
Yeah, not too much for his deck here, based on his picking before. I don't think the Raucous Entertainer is something he's interested in.
No, and I don't think this is a good medic deck
Might just be
by any means.
could this be a hate draft? Perhaps
Hmm.
could be. I mean, maybe he wants card draw enough to splash that guy, but probably not. All right, steer clear. I mean, he doesn't have enough mounts to make it work.
It's true, I certainly don't hate it in this deck.
I mean, yeah,
But yeah, if he wanted to splash black, there was a black green land that was not taken
yeah. Actually,
previously.
he just does have 8 mounts, so not too many. There's a tether here.
Oh, a tether, pick 8.
I mean,
No
white.
one else is white.
I mean, white is not being heavily drafted here. It's a
Yes, white
fourth,
Barriota.
4/7 here. He's just gonna show us the strength of the cats today, perhaps. But he took the
No, he
tether
just
at the
wanted to
last
pet the
minute.
cat.
Look, he's a
Took the
kind
pet.
soul.
It's a good man.
Yep. All right. Tycoon here, probably going right to the sideboard if I had to guess, or maybe not. Yeah, not too much here at the end of the pack, and he has one pack left here to shore up. He still could use a few more 2 drops. I would say that would be the
Certainly in green white, I would like a couple more things that you actually play on too, because like Outcaster can be plotted, but I think in this deck you need to be
Yeah,
pressuring
he has
from
Frontier
the start.
Seekers, Prairie Dog, Bristlepack Sentry has one, Hard Bristle Bandit, Stable Master, Arynx, and the Aloe Alchemist. I mean, it's an okay amount, but a couple of those cards you're not super happy to run in this deck, like Bristlepack Sentry and
Yeah,
Hard Bristle
yeah, I'd love
Bandit.
to replace Sentry and Bandit if possible.
Like you would just play a trained Arynx over those any day.
Uh-huh.
All right, looks like he may be starting to sort by curve.
Gonna
Maybe.
get very sort here. Oh boy.
It's okay. Gives us something to think about here. This pack is pretty rotten for him,
Ooh.
all told here. Somebody is going to have like 7 Scalestorm summoners in their deck.
Indeed, there is a scale towards Summoner Reckoning coming.
Somebody is just racking these things up. There have just been so many of them, and every
And
time
I'm
Dan
seeing
has
a
been
lot
mousing
of.
over it and being like, "Oh, this card's good,"
Mhm.
can't do
There's
it.
also a lot of black recursion in that pack, and we've seen a couple of these coyotes as well. I think somebody could have a really good red aggressive deck.
Yeah, again, I mean, was there some like we have seen like none of the gold legends at all, really. I don't know
Agreed.
if that's just a coincidence or if the packs were skewed to not have them, but I'm surprised that we just haven't seen like even the ones in the other colors. Like we haven't seen, like the Gruul gold
Yeah, there's been
cards, the
no gold
Izzet gold
cards.
cards, Demir, like nothing. So I don't know if there was maybe there was some weird error or something, but seems unlikely that we would just never see any of them. But we're managing here. Yeah, because you would expect, like, if nobody's drafting blue red, like you're going to see a Crown come around at some point, or a Lazav, or just
We saw the hypothesis on the prosperity
yeah,
spot
yeah,
just now,
yeah.
and
We've seen
that's
gold
it.
cards. Yeah, we've seen like Tyrant Scorn. We've seen gold cards in
Hmm.
the bonus sheet slot, but not in the regular packs. So I don't know if that was an oversight or if it's intentional or just a very bizarre coincidence. But looks like at least nobody's really getting hooked up with their with their gold payoffs here.
Yeah, really.
All right, another
And
Frontier
I feel
Seeker.
like a Miriam would put this deck over the top. It would function like a mythic in this deck.
Yeah, or even Congregation Grift too. But yeah, Miriam just
No,
as the
so true.
hexproof, just as the hexproof. Yeah,
Even the 4/3 flyer that gets back something from the graveyard would go crazy in this deck.
yeah. Haven't seen that either. You would snap that up probably as fast as you can take
Hmm.
anything.
Hmm.
But fortunately, not too many great picks here. I mean, their Frontier Seeker and Arynx are good. Oh well, look at
Oh, the
it.
Shepherd! Oh, the Buried in the
I
Garden
think it's the Shepherd.
is
It's his
Shepherd.
only
Yeah.
recursion, I believe.
Hmm.
But sad
And he has
sad to see
other
that.
O-rings,
Yeah.
and he doesn't need to fix, so we were right. Snapped it up as quick as he could.
Yep. All right, Paladin. You usually run most of the Paladins that you take. Card just ended up being very very good. Yeah, weird lack of gold cards. Very very weird here. Another Paladin. Don't know how many he's gonna run, but we'll see that when he enters into round one.
Yeah, I'll be very curious what the final build looks like,
Yeah, we'll see if
and to see if anyone else got gold cards.
yeah. Well, when we look through the pools, we'll see. I would say if nobody got gold cards from the regular set, then it was probably some minor oversight of some kind. But
Hmm.
yeah, Patient Naturalist not really what this deck is looking for.
No, I imagine that and the Rise are cut.
Yeah, like that card looked like it was going to be like a staple common. It ended up just sort of just being for the graveyard decks, and even in those graveyard decks, you just always wanted the 2/2 vampire more,
Hmm.
one than milled too.
Agreed. The stat line just really did not live up to what it needed to in this set.
Yeah, because we've seen cards like that before and they were good. I think it was Eccentric Farmer in one of the Innistrad
Hmm.
sets, and that card was just like one of the best green commons in the set. And it was like you
Hmm.
would play as many of those as possible. But This one,
And this one even had the upside of giving you the treasure if you whiffed.
yeah. Well, and that's it. The farmer could get you back any land that was in your graveyard, and
Oh, I see.
there was like evolving wilds in that set too.
Hmm.
So there was stuff you could do there, but it just looked
Makes
like it was
sense.
going to be a staple common, and ended up being kind of very niche, narrow card. All right, so wrapping up the pack here, Possum. I mean, it's a mount. It does some cute stuff.
I have no problem with the possum. Obviously, the possum Redstein combo I still have nightmares about, but
Cutest card in the set, perhaps.
hmm, quite possibly.
All right, so not sure he's playing four Spinewood Paladins, but you never know. All right, so wrapping this up here.
I think you'll have to decide between those and the stagecoach, but
Yeah, we'll see how he ends up building his deck once we get into round one. But you know, green white, open enough. Had some mounts, has some removal, has some big stuff, and we have Dan's Megadraft here in the OTJ Artisan top eight. So we'll be back in a little bit with looking at the pools of the rest of the players.